look at the camera, right?
Yep.
I don't know if I should look at you or the camera.
Yeah, you can look at the camera.
Okay.
Or me, you know.
I don't know that I have an answer to that because I think everything has a place. I think diversity in all areas is necessary for the world to go. So I'm going to say nothing. Nothing.
I think greed is really what the driving force behind a lot of negative things in the world right now, so we can get rid of that. Why not?
Controversial as it might be, I'd say organized religion by and large. I feel like it started off as this kind of good idea, but I feel like after several thousand years of not coming together on the same issues, I think it's driven us apart as a race more than anything else, to be honest. Because there's people killing and fighting wars over these things that they really have no validation behind. I do think there does have to be a religion of self, if that makes any sense. You have to believe in your own mythology. Self-religion I think is a bit important, but I think the whole organized thing has become too big of an issue. I think the world would probably be a better place if we could get rid of it.
Okay, I guess I would get rid of rape.
Like judgment, I think. I know it's not a physical thing, but if it's something I could get rid of, I would.
Oh goodness, that would be a really long list, but I guess people are just a product of the circumstances that brought them to where they are. Nothing particularly important ever happened. Life just happened, and here I am.
Probably mostly my parents and the rest of my family. They had a really major impact in raising me, obviously, and then I hung out with my cousins after. They were my friends, so even them, and my aunts and uncles and grandparents always had a major impact on what I did and how I perceived the world, I guess.
I'm the person I am today because of years of trying and finding out what works, what doesn't, and tons of experience interacting with other people. I've got this idea that the way we interact with society is this: everyone is this ball of clay, and when you interact with somebody for however long it is, you take a bit of clay off your ball and a little bit of clay off their ball, and you swap, and basically you take their clay and you mesh it into yourself, and they take your clay and mesh it into themselves. So by the end of it, you kind of develop your own personality based on the people you're around. You pick up the habits, you pick up habits, sayings, phrases, words, knowledge from people constantly, and you're sort of an integration of the people you interact with on your day-to-day, and I interact with a lot of people, so I think I'm kind of accumulation. I think all the people that I've known throughout my life have brought me to be the person I am today.
I've gone through a fair amount of adversity in my life, and I think that it's forced me to have some really interesting coping mechanisms, such as my humor, and my anger that I use to fight back, and I think I'm pretty much formed by the adversity that I've survived. I don't know if that's true for everybody. I think everybody has survived some amount of adversity. And some of the love. I think I am the way I am today because of adversity and love.
Just a lot of different things in my past and people that I meet, and constant reflection on all those things that have happened to me over the past. I think it's always being willing to open and grow and learn from people and meeting new people. That's one of my main things that I really like. So I think, through introspection and reflection and meeting people and having an open mind, through your experience and other people's experiences, I think that's wholly what has kind of made me who I am today.
Everything.
Everything.
Expressing what I have truly felt in times when I felt that I couldn't because I was afraid of what I might have said would affect other people, instead of thinking about what kind of release it would give to me individually.
Fear of failure has stopped me from traveling a lot and from making very large life decisions. fresh out of college, a lot of people told me to just, you know, pack up all my things and move to Rochester. And I was just like, but and I would protest and be like, but I can't just take all my stuff and go to Rochester, because then if I just don't do anything there, then I'm gonna have to wind up moving back here. And part of me kind of wonders if maybe, had I taken that chance, would my life be much different right now, or would I have had to come back here? Would I have made it? So I think that's one. But I am getting over my fear of traveling, because I'm going to New York City solo this weekend.
Before I was a photographer, I wholesaled cars, and the market was getting really tough. The big thing was when that bill, Cash for Clunkers, was passed, where people could take really old cars and get new cars, but they had to be crushed. That really, really hurt the used car business. And for someone who was really small time like myself, that really hurt. And it got to the point where I just felt like I had to take more risks to be able to make money, and I wasn't willing to do that. So I guess I was afraid of failing then. So that's why I kind of got out of it and went to the family business of photography. Going back to school would be a big thing. I don't have an overwhelming desire to go back to school. There are a few subjects that if I had the opportunity to go back to school, I'd really consider it. But there are certain classes that I knew when I was originally in college, taking engineering and science, like chemistry, that I just, for some reason, couldn't connect with. It's always in the back of my mind that if I was to go back to school and I had to take chemistry, I just wouldn't simply go back to school, because I would be afraid of failing again, and then it would be like, what's the point, and all this stuff. So I think that's my biggest one, would be going back to school, because of certain classes I know I just didn't do well in the past, and I just don't want to go down that road again.
Writing these papers that I'm not writing, because I'm afraid they're not going to be A pluses, but I'm willing to take an F instead. It stopped me from pursuing my bachelor's in theater with a master's in drama therapy, because I'm afraid I won't be able to get a job. I think that's the biggest current regret of my life, is that I'm too afraid to get my master's in drama therapy.
I don't think that I would ever go back to school at this point, because I have tried that too many times, and it's just a pain. You know, it looks like that's just not in the cards. I should ask out people, and I don't. I should make friends with people, and I don't. I should try to expand my professional life, as pathetic as it is, but I don't. I should try to work somewhere other than where I do, but I don't. I just kind of stay where I am, because at least that's working, and I haven't screwed it up yet.
You know, I do think it stops me from trying new things. I don't really openly, or I guess on the surface, fear failure, but I'm sure it's in there. You know, I don't go, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm going to suck or I'll fail, but I think it's, you know, part of it. It's like, oh, I'm not really good at that, so why waste my time on it, instead of being like, okay, well, it's not really wasting your time if you're learning something new. But I know, I think it stops me from putting time into practicing things or learning things, because on the surface I want to be doing things that I know I can already do, or that I enjoy already, or that I'm good at, instead of, you know, worrying about practicing and maybe you're never going to get good at it. I guess maybe that's a better answer. Wasting time to practice something and maybe it was just not something you're ever going to really be too good at.
Fear of failure has stopped me from truly pursuing my art goals. I'm afraid of a gallery not wanting to show my artwork, and that will sometimes keep me from painting as much as I'd like to.
Trying a lot of things, I guess, but mostly the writing that I want to do makes me, it's what leads to the self-consciousness of my writing.
I'm really upset about it. Maybe I should just do it.
Maybe you should.
No, I'll never get a job.
I believe I'm passionate about photography. I'm passionate about cars and automobiles. I absolutely love them. If I could, I would buy a new car every month just to drive it. Like, yeah, I want to own a bunch of different cars because I love cars, and passionate about technology and computers. I'm also passionate about people having the right information in the world. There's a lot of things, especially with Facebook and the internet and a lot of media on social media, is that some people might only hear one side of the story, or they might just get the complete wrong story from someplace and then believe that as fact. And that's more of like a pet peeve, but that's something that I'm passionate about, to make sure people, you know, regardless of the issue, if I agree or not, know the right information. It's because I hate seeing people believe something as fact when it's really not.
I'm passionate about learning, knowing things, and kind of understanding the world as best I can, and trying to see it in a different way.
Passionate about rape, and not rape, mostly. Yeah, I'm passionate about ending sexual violence. I care about a lot of things, but that's what I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about acting.
I'm passionate about having fun. I find that I don't want to sit down for more than 5 minutes and be bored or feel like I'm not accomplishing goals or enjoying myself. So I'm always looking to have fun and trying to find plans to fill my day with and new adventures to go on.
There's a lot of little things that I'm passionate about, but I wouldn't say, like, you could probably categorize them all as into having fun. I enjoy humor. I'm passionate about laughing and humor, and I think that's very important.
Sleeping. I should have more things than that, but honestly, I've been tired for the last 5 years, so I don't remember the last time I had a hobby or did anything fun. I like to go hiking, but I wouldn't really call that passion. I was one of those kids that grew up in school and, like, you know, the administration is falling all over themselves telling me how special I am, and no, I went to, like, a gifted kids school, and then I dropped out of college twice, and now I work at the grocery store.
Honestly, even just a year back, like, a lot of what I'm doing now is not what I pictured. I thought I would be a teacher a couple years ago, and now I'm trying to apply for social work. You know, the funny thing is, I think it's very different, is that I sleep in and I go to sleep early. I don't party anymore. Never thought that was gonna end. I thought it'd be cool forever.
My life is different now than I pictured it would be, because I think I pictured myself, I guess more correctly, I guess I never did picture myself. So I was always like, oh, I'm going to be an artist when I grow up, but I never really projected where that would take me or what path I would take, and there's a lot more decisions to make about being an artist than just being an artist. You have to decide what medium you're going into, what you're going to do. I definitely didn't project myself being in Binghamton as long as I've been, but here we are.
I expected to have a family by now. I don't have any kids, but I am married though. To be honest, that might be the one big difference, is I wanted to be a young father. But now that I'm 29 and childless, I don't wish that anymore. I'm glad that I wasn't, I should say. And I think that's really the biggest difference. I never really looked that far into the future of my life. I just kind of took it, you know, step by step.
It is very different, but in a good way. When I was in high school, I was supposed to write about what my life would look like in my late 20s, and I thought that I would be a fashion designer married to an Abercrombie & Fitch model, and it's better than that. I am a teacher, and my husband is awesome. Not an Abercrombie & Fitch model, but awesome in many other ways that aren't as shallow and stupid as a high school dream.
I was gonna throw
so
in
funny.
there that it's only by choice that I'm not never crying.
Okay.
It depends on which direction. I don't know. I always thought I would live to be 30. Like, that wasn't a thing that I thought was going to happen for me. I definitely didn't think I wouldn't be at least smoking pot at 30. Like, I thought that was going to be something. So yeah, like, not drinking, or doing any drugs is definitely something I didn't envision for my life. On the flip side, I guess I thought I'd be like married and have kids at my age. I don't know if I ever thought I would go to college. I don't think I ever thought that that was ever going to happen. So that's different.
Definitely the health of my family.
I would say yes. I think, there's stuff that people think about every day. Even minuscule stuff like I have to feed my dogs, I have to take care of my dogs. I wonder if my wife's having a good day. Stuff like that. My grandfather died a couple months ago and my grandma's in really bad shape. So I kind of think about her and I think about what could I do to help her, but she's kind of has Alzheimer's / dementia and everything, and it's just like, that's a road where I'm really uncomfortable with. So a lot of stuff goes through my mind of I can't help her and I almost don't want to. And then now I feel terrible and I'm a terrible grandson and all this stuff. And then at the same time, my family in St. Bernard is going through a rough time. We'll probably be put down soon on my parents' St. Bernard, and I've been talking to my brother a lot about that, and how my dad's going about it is really weird. And so that's been kind of on my mind lately. But if there's something that I had to put where it's like I've really thought about this issue every single day for a long time, I don't think there is one.
One word.
Beautiful. No, not that one.
I would like kind. I like to be kind.
Laid back.
Introverted.
Goofy.
Eccentric.
Interesting, I think.
Interesting? Yeah.
Train wreck. That's probably awful. I don't know. I mean, think things are busy right now. I would have probably said a different word some other time.
You could think it's like, oh, well, how do I go down, do I go down the path of money? Do I go down the path of passion? Goodness. Man. That's a good one.
I would like to be a writer and a college professor.
I would be a speaker, a public speaker, as a rape survivor. I would travel the country speaking publicly. It's sort of like a motivational speaker, I think, is what I would do if I could do anything, for overcoming sexual violence and maybe some of the overcoming drug addiction and alcoholism stuff too.
To be totally honest, I might choose to be a bartender, to be completely honest with you. And I think my reasoning for that is because I like to drink. I like alcohol of all kinds. I appreciate a good mixed drink, and at the same time, I feel like a bartender gets to meet a lot of interesting characters and gets to know people on a level that some people don't really know that well. My roommate knows his bartender well enough that she made him a birthday cake. And I feel like you might have a lot of experiences like that with people if you were a bartender.
Probably do something in the arts, more music, or one of the things I've always wanted to be, but I didn't really notice until I got older and kind of thought about it. When I was mid-20s, I really always wanted to kind of be a dancer, but I never really did anything with it, so probably that.
I think I would just walk around the entire country or the world for a living. I met this one guy once that I think he did a fundraiser. This was several years ago before I moved up here. He did a fundraiser and raised a bunch of money and then just walked in a big W across the United States of America over the course of 2 years. And he just randomly landed in our town at one point. And that was neat, and I always thought that, I still think about him sometimes, and I always thought that he must have the best stories. And so if someone will just pay me to just go everywhere, that'd be cool.
No, I'm not proud of who I am today. I think I'm doing some good stuff. I think given where I've been in the past and where I could be today, I'm doing pretty well. But, no, I'm not proud that I'm a sophomore in college and my 31st birthday is next week. And I'm not getting straight A's and I'm making a really low income and I'm not even scraping together, making ends meet. Not proud of that.
I am proud. I have been working at my job for 6 years and I'm only 28 years old and I don't have many friends who have been in their career as long as I have, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud of my marriage because our marriage is very good and very strong. And I'm looking at Anthony, so people are gonna know he's over there.
For the most part, I'm gonna say yes. I always felt it was important to be a good person, and how I relate to others and how others see me. Well, take that back. How others, I don't want to put a lot of emphasis on I spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think of me, but I always thought it was important that if people found me as a good person, as a good friend, and you know, that's how I try to live my life. So I would say I'm pretty proud of the person I am. There are obviously things that, you know, you wish you were different or you could do differently, but I think, you know, big picture wise, I'm pretty happy with the person I am. And that's something that I've always wanted to be.
I'm truly proud of just going to work every day, even though it seems like it's an easy task. There are many mornings I wake up and I just don't want to go. So I'm proud of the fact that I've been sticking with one job for a long period of time and that I believe I can do it for another 20 or 30 years.
I'm really proud that I go to the hospitals and meet with victims. And there's moments in those, and I know that something I did to help a victim, maybe I don't remember having done that, and maybe the stuff that I think was really powerful and life-changing, maybe they don't actually remember, but that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of going to the hospitals and meeting with victims. I think it's might be some of the most valuable stuff I've ever done in my life.
Honestly, just my degree is one thing I was really proud of. I never had to work for much. I was just like naturally smart throughout school, and then finally reached a point where I had to put effort in and really try. And I was glad that I was able to meet that challenge.
Oh, and I'm proud that I stopped using drugs. I'm proud of that.
Kept a healthy relationship with my parents for 26 years.
I think deepness, more so than people understand. I think some people might think that I'm deep and I like to have conversations, but to the level that I actually truly am, I don't think a lot of people know that.
I think people don't know how scared I am.
I hate everyone. Like, I try really hard not to. And I think that my friends don't really get how much I just hate people. Because they always talk about how nice I am. Like Eric just said the other day, oh my god, you're like the most empathetic person I've ever met. I'm like, no, you don't know. Oh my god, I hate everyone. Well, not really, but yeah, I kind of do.
Well, something I recognize in myself, I don't know if believe about myself is the best way to put it, but I'm very self-conscious about a lot of things, and most people don't see it because I usually try to mask it with cockiness and confidence.
Is it obvious how scared I am? Just fear, like, everything all the time. I'm terrified most of the time.
Well, when you say the word belief, I automatically think of religion. So I would say my belief in Christ, I strongly value. I don't want to say radical. I think radical is the wrong word, but I'm very modern in my belief of Christ. And I strongly value the fact that I can take scientific fact. I know the world of science and math and physics really well. So I always take in consideration of all those that I've learned, facts that I'm intelligent enough not to deny and all this stuff. And then, I supplement that with my belief in Christ and thinks, everything's impossible in Him. my strong belief is that science is possible through Christ, and a lot of people don't ever want to combine the two. And, you know, a lot of scientists believe, well, if you believe in science, you can't believe in Christ. If you believe in Christ, you can't believe in science. There's no reason not to believe that both can't coexist together. And I think that would be the one belief that I really strongly believe.
Definitely to respect everybody's opinions and to allow everybody to express their own individual needs.
I believe in God and I strongly value that. And even though I probably don't talk about it very much, I find that I can always turn to prayer if I'm ever stressed out about things beyond my control.
I believe that everybody is equal, and that everybody is born on a very unequal playing field. And I think people don't see that, and people have skewed beliefs, and people confuse disadvantage with being less than, and I don't believe that. I believe that people are truly disadvantaged and need help, and I value that belief.
Definitely something I can do with myself if I'm feeling, very upset is always a warm bath, and something very aromatic always helps me calm my nerves. And of course sleeping for a very long time.
Something on the internet. Play video games, read forums about something that interests me at the time. I enjoy going on eBay Motors and just looking at cars on eBay Motors. It used to be, go out with friends or even play soccer, stuff like other things that were available to me at the time that I would do. But now, mostly for the last couple of years, it's been the internet and the computer, where it's just something that I know I can go to that will completely take my mind off anything and everything, and it just seems like it's like my security blanket.
I often turn to food as a primary resort to try to make myself happy, because ice cream is one of those things that always does the trick for me. If not, I try to find my husband, Anthony, and give him a hug, because that one moment of just embracing him usually makes everything feel less stressful.
Facebook. Next question. People think I'm nicer than I am, or they think I care more than I do. They think I want hugs. I don't want hugs. That sounds awful.
I don't know what tons of people think about me, but I know that I used to be told by my coworkers that they thought that I was spoiled and that I had a lot of money and that I was maybe a bitch because of how I dressed. And I had to inform them that I was a former welfare child and that I get all my clothes at thrift stores and that I get a lot of hand-me-downs from my grandmother. And I think some of my coworkers think that I'm this crazy recluse with all these weird friends that do crazy things on weekends, and I don't think they realize that we're goofy and we like to have fun.
That I am this person with no fear and just super, super confident about everything I do and completely full of aplomb and sure of myself, when in actuality it couldn't be any further from the truth. I'm winging it just like everybody else is. I do have a creative mind and a creative eye for things. I've never considered myself to be incredibly creative, but I've recently realized that I don't think anybody does see themselves as the creative individual that everyone else sees them to be. So I've recently learned to take a step back and look at my own things and appreciate them on the level that other people can appreciate them.
I guess I learned I can be mean. I have trying issues at work, and not 100% proud of all of my responses, but build-up of stress can really add to the way we react.
I can be very, very nervous about things that shouldn't make me nervous. I find myself wanting to throw up at things like running a race or getting in front of my kids to teach a lesson that I'm not comfortable with, talking to parents on the phone, playing a softball game with friends, things that I just shouldn't be so nervous about have been making me very anxious lately.
Probably more recently, maybe the way I realistically might come off to people compared to how I wish I come off to people sometimes, and using that and reflecting and trying to work on that. So I think like sometimes I might come off in a certain way that's totally against or opposite of what I'm trying to come off as to people that I meet or friends in certain situations. So I don't know, just like more of a realistic me and how to work on that.
That when I am afraid to be intimate and to get connected to another person, that if I tell them that and stick it out, I can be okay. I learned that communication's important. I don't think I learned that recently. I think I knew that, but I experienced it recently. And I also learned that I have a saturation point for attention. I found the level of attention that's too much attention. I learned I have that. I didn't know I had that.
It turns out that I don't want to say I'm terrible with money, but I'm not really great with money. And that's the one thing I learned about myself compared to my wife, is how I view money, I should say. And how I view, bills and stuff, and, you know, even though I pay them on time, I'm not as diligent as, you know, she is, or probably one should be. So I've learned then about myself that sometimes, something I pride myself as being easygoing, there are certain things that I should take a different mental stance to. And then another thing is, a couple years ago, I went to the doctors and they actually diagnosed me with anxiety. And that was just a couple years ago, and I never had any problem or issue with anxiety or anything. And then now, when I have a panic attack, it feels like I have to throw up, and sometimes it's horrible and I hate it. So I guess that's something new that I found out about myself, that I have anxiety. And it sucks that for 27 years of my life I never had anxiety, and now the last 2 years I have anxiety, and it's like, it kind of rocked my world at the time, but I'm learning to deal with it.
I can definitely be a people pleaser at times, and I can kind of let that get in the way of saying something that I truly need to say for my own personal needs, allowing that, you know, want to please other people to stop me from, you know, doing something that I truly wanted to accomplish.
A year ago I couldn't run, and now I can run. A year ago I was excited to finish 3 miles in 40 minutes, and now I'm upset if I run 3 miles in anything more than, you know, 26 minutes or so. And I couldn't run more than 3 miles in a row, and now we're up to about 5, and it just keeps getting better from there.
Definitely through my new work position, I feel that I am able to, I feel like I can just like connect to like a wider like variety of different personalities than I could before. Definitely through meeting other people and learning some new techniques.
As far as work is concerned, I'm able to work without letting my stress level elevate as much. I've kind of accepted a lot of what bothered me at first as just part of the job. And I've recognized that a lot of the things that were really stressing me were my fear of the way other people, my coworkers, viewed me and my success as a employee. And I recognize that a lot of that is out of my power, and I'm doing just as well as a lot of other people that are working there. And we're all just trying our best.
Can you want to put the camera on me? I can do this, and I couldn't do this a year ago.
Just about every day, you know, I'm becoming a better photographer, learning different techniques, lighting, computer settings, post-processing stuff. So I would definitely say that my skill as a photographer has definitely increased from a year ago. I think photography has been the one thing that I've been learning for the last couple of years, so a lot of my learning energy has gone into that, and I haven't really tried to learn anything else.
Oh, the other thing I can do that I couldn't do a year ago is run 5 miles.
being a genuinely good person. I think if I leave an impression behind of being this person that people could go to or people could trust, I think I'll be doing pretty well in my life.
Just like kindness, you know, like being there for people when they need someone to talk to, not judging.
For talking about rape. I want people to be like, that's the rape girl.
I want to be known for being a good mom and a good wife. I don't have kids yet, but once I do, my #1 goal would be to be good to them and give them a good life.
Helping people, I guess. And being strong, picking stuff up. That's dumb. Helping people move. There.
I would like to be known for being a good actor, but I don't know if I'm going through a bad actor phase right now, but I've been going through this, like, I'm just not that great. I don't know if it's a very realistic view or if it's a super pessimistic view, but I used to really want to be known for being a great actor and a great artist, but I feel like that's not realistic anymore.
I love the fact that I'm a fast learner. There's not much anything that I can't sit down and figure out for myself, or sit down with someone or something and figure something out. I've always been really able to pick up a lot of things, and so I'm very proud of that. I also like the fact that I'm always willing to help people out, even though sometimes it might be annoying to help people out, but I'm always willing to put myself out there if someone needs help. I've always thought that I've been great at listening and giving advice on personal life. I like to think that I'm a good photographer. I like to think that I'm really good with computers. Oh, another thing that I get complimented a lot on is that I'm always very easygoing. There's not a lot in this world that will shake me, and so I'm really good under crisis or under stress, because I know that things get to me, so I'm always able to keep a level head and make smart decisions.
Well, as long as I can love them about myself and nobody else has to love them about me. I don't like to play games with people. I usually will just say things, and a lot of times that makes people really uncomfortable because people don't do that anymore. People don't talk to each other. Nobody says anything, and like, so, like I said, I think that it's good, but nobody else will do it. That's the main one, is like I try not to BS around with people, and I try to let people know what I think about them, especially if it's good, because I think that people don't tell each other that kind of stuff enough.
I've noticed since college, I guess, people I've interacted with and just new people I meet, I sort of have this natural ability to make people feel very comfortable. I feel like I'm an easy person to warm up to, and I make people feel comfortable. I've had people within a week of meeting them tell me things they've never felt comfortable telling anybody, and I brought them to a level where they felt like they could say those things to me because they knew I wouldn't judge them, or I would be completely accepting and wouldn't think any less of them or anything like that. So I've always kind of been happy that I have that sort of quality in a passive way without even actively trying to do it.
I like that I have a good sense of humor. It takes a lot to offend me, so I'm usually always in a good mood and laughing. And I like that I can usually be kind to everybody, because my mother taught me that very well.
More genuine and open, not like genuine with myself, but just being genuine with other people more than I try to be, and always trying to be myself and not ashamed of that, and just always being willing to be genuine and an open book for people and not being afraid to share things with people and talk about myself and just kind of be me all the time.
Independent, that's really it. I really don't care much about what I do or how much money it makes, as long as I can take care of myself and I don't have to rely on people.
I would just like to be someone in a position to help people, hopefully without too much of a negative for my own self and life and family. But you know, sometimes truly helping people is also giving of yourself.
The person I aspire to be is financially independent, kind and loving. Financially independent. Did I mention that one? Financially independent. And well known or famous, as some people might put it. I want to be famous still.
Simply just someone who can communicate freely without having to worry about what others think and having to worry about, picking perfect language.
The me that I aspire to be is work-driven and makes art a lot and lives simply while being able to hold down the bills. And all of those are things I'm working on.
I aspire to be a good friend. I aspire to be a good wife and be supportive. I aspire to be a good teacher and to not let my kids down. I aspire to eventually be a good mom and to give my kids what they need. And I aspire to be a good daughter to my mom, which I have trouble with sometimes. And I'm still going to be her little girl for many more years, and I have to work hard at making her proud and happy.
So well known, kind and loving, and rich. Rich and famous. I want to be rich and famous.
Filming.
I'm texting my boss. Hey, you want to talk? Let's talk.
Like, what really hot?
Wait, say it again so I don't hear
Yeah.
him.
Feel fear of
Um,
Um,
Ready? Is it on me?
Give me 1 second.
Tell me when you're ready.
I will tell you.
Okay.
Hold on.
I can't do this much longer.
Nope, you have to. Hold on.
I'm just gonna wait until you're ready.
what's going to be on TV today? Oh, I really hope it's a Harry Potter weekend on ABC Family, but it's not. And it's like, ah.
Shouldn't clear my nose while I'm talking.
No, that's okay.
Alright, it's just so much fun.
Like a physical thing or like
Anything.
And like in getting rid of it, the world would become better.
how abstract is this? Something like that you could possibly easily get rid of, or is it just like, I don't know,
Whatever your heart desires.
like in the whole world?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. I wish I had time to plan these questions.
Oh!
It's a good thing it gets edited.
Mm-hmm.
But I want people to know me as Facebook girl.
That answer got away from me.
No, that's
I
okay.
don't know where it went.
I really don't know. I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
I don't have an answer to that one.
That's a good. I don't know.
About myself? Was that the question?
Goodness. Maybe a man. that's a good one. What is the question again?
I won't air it, don't worry.
I'm gonna be the world's most famous rape advocate.
These are good questions.
Thanks. Oh, sad.
Aw.
Way to end it on a sad
Is that the last
No,
one?
no.